Now it's time for Coach's Corner. Lee, what do you got for us?
Hey, what a segue. The glasses are already on. Guess what team I'm looking at this week?
The West Tigers.
Yeah, I can't do what they call PNG yet because they've not played a game. I could at some point this year look at the PNG Hunters, obviously, because they're going to be a precursor to what happens there. But this week it's the West Tigers.
Alrighty.
Before I play the tape, can you all see that there's 5 Raiders players around the West Tigers play the ball there? There's 2 on the long side, if you like, of the play the ball, and there's 3 on the short side. So when any team attacks, there's always the opportunity to look at a short side and an open side. A short side and a long side, they tend to call it. In this instance, though, the short side is very short, and Raiders have actually overcooked the short side there. They've got too many players on the short side. So the West Tigers in this instance try to find an overlap with that. Because they're so flat, because they're not organised, and that's Luai there who's just passed the ball, they decide to kick the ball. Now, in the NRL right now, there's an awful lot of tries being scored from kicks. I don't know if you've noticed, particularly in Brisbane. That was a fantastic kick. Look how that ball falls horizontally. That was completely planned in terms of kicking. Here you'll notice to play the ball, and I want you to look at the numbers in defence. They're roughly around a scrum line now, which is the line just underneath the number 10 there. So they're about 21, 22 metres in from the touchline. The Raiders have put 4 defenders on that, what would be the short side. They're actually overcooking it again. So the West Tigers are actually developing a brand of football this year that's very good at playing eyes up. And you would have heard that term, eyes up football. And basically that means playing what you see and counting numbers. And the golden rule, and I'll talk more about this later, is if there's so many players on one side of the play the ball, there can only be so many on the other. So because West Tigers were looking at 4 Canberra defenders there, it meant they're going to be short on this side. So the West Tigers have some good shape around the ball. I mean, it's only because of where I've stopped it there that you can see that the ball was going out the back. If we look at Jerome Luai now, he could be going front to number 12 or out the back to what I think is his fullback, and he goes out the back. And because there's a passive tackle there, and this is a bit of a pattern from Thursday's game, West Tigers fall over the line to score. It wasn't the halfback, sorry, it was the halfback. They've now got to play the ball in the middle of the field. Now, when you have a play the ball in the middle of the field, if you're away from the posts, which they aren't right now, a good defence will have 2 markers, a full-back, and 10 defenders in the defensive line. Because we are in the middle of the field, that should mean you have 5 defenders on one side of the play the ball and 5 defenders on the other. And what lots of coaches do is they encourage their halves to attack when the opposition defence doesn't get that defensive split right. Okay, so if you imagine 10 people in the defensive line, if there's 6 on one side and 4 on the other, you should always attack the 4. In this instance, West Tigers are attacking the Canberra Raiders on their goal line, so their markers have been able to fall straight back into the line. So the Canberra Raiders shouldn't be conceding any tries here, but it's just overpowering. And this is why the West Tigers will be better this year. In that circumstance I just showed you, they should never have scored, but they've got players who can, when they're faced one-on-one with someone, can either go over the top of a defender or step past the defender. Here we've got another play the ball, which is in the middle of the field. So therefore, the Raiders should have 4 defenders on this side of the play the ball. As we look at the screen, there's only 3. So the West Tigers should attack that right now. Let's see what they do. That's exactly what they do. The Raiders are short of players on that side, and the West Tigers comfortably get through. So the West Tigers boys are an excellent eyes up side. Here's another example. Just the front and back man shape easily getting around teams. So you don't want necessarily Jerome Luai to leave the West Tigers if you're a West Tigers fan, because they're looking great at the moment. And all credit to Benji Marshall. A couple of years ago, I looked at his attacking side and his defensive side, and they were a basket case, and he's obviously evolved and learned as a coach.
Well, I was about to say I've only got one comment on all that, and that is, when you think about players who have played eyes up footy over the years, Benji Marshall is probably pretty close to the top of that list.
Yep.
And, you can do the maths on why the Tigers are playing as they are playing.
Yeah, the vibes are so high. That game, when they were doing the Canberra clap.
Well, the Viking Club, yeah.
The Viking clap, yeah. That was unreal. Just vibes very high there. Thank you for that, Lee. That's Coach's Corner. Rugbyleaguecoach.com for more.
.au.
You should be getting both those done, mate. Anyway, I'll talk about that later. All right, to
Somebody
finish up
got
the
it
show.
25 years ago and has never used it. So.